back to the 8th episode of Red Hawk Media Virtual Academy. Wow, it's early. I thought it would be worthwhile to start our week off with something positive here. I came across this, maybe some of you have already seen it, but it's worth taking a look at here. I'm going to hop on over here and send it, and here we are. All right. John Krasinski from The Office has put together some good news. Take a look at it. It's pretty funny. It's just heartwarming, good, positive stuff. The kind of things that we need right now. So I thought I'd just throw that out there. Take a look. Definitely worth your while. I'll be coming back to this actually when we talk video production here. All right, let's go ahead and hop out of there. From here, we're going to be talking Digital Media 2. Okay, so I'm going to send that on over here. For Digital Media 2, this is what we're going to work on creating this week. Our goal is to start looking at relationships between script and objects that are actually in your game. So you can see I've got this game set up here, and I've added some coins in, and I'm just going to hop into play. And once we get in here, the whole idea is we're going to create a coin system where you can collect the coins, and then up in the upper right hand corner it actually counts them. Okay, and this is a really good starting place for learning some of the basics between code relation and objects that are in your scene. Okay, now I'm not going to walk through this on the live episode here because it's got a few more details, and I wanted to make sure that it was done correctly. So your resource here to help you out with all of this is going to be on the Red Hawk Media channel. When you get on here, as you know, we've got playlists for all the different units. There is a playlist that is completely devoted to the 2D platform game tutorials here. And if you were to hop into these, I better make sure this is muted here. If you hop into these, you can see starting from day one, which we've already accomplished, starting your project, loading that up, getting everything all set, it's all in here. Cinemachine, that's in here, and it goes right down the list here. Swapping animations, we already did that, which brings me up to this one. Okay, this is the tutorial on the coin counter. There is also a link in the description below, so take a look at that. But this will help you out step by step, actually create your first script, attach it to an object, and get your counter working. Which is a cool little feature. Incentives are important in game design. It's one of the things that keeps you playing games. Through your failure, you get incentivized to keep playing. And that's kind of the idea here. So take a look at that, walk through it, and definitely follow all the steps there. The code is very nicely laid out for you to type. The one thing that you'll want to make sure is that you have your Virtual Studio ready to go for editing the code. If you didn't get Virtual Studio on the original download, you'll be using Dreamweaver. And just a quick reminder, Dreamweaver is available on self-service, so you can hop on there and grab that. Now, if there's any problems with any of those things, make sure you drop me a message and let me know. Okay, and that pretty much covers Digital Media 2. You guys are on your own. This is a tutorial that's due by Wednesday, and I'm going to have an assignment that you're going to screen capture your character going through your level, collecting coins, and you'll be turning that in by Wednesday. And that'll be kind of our next checkpoint for all of this. Excellent. So there we have that. Let's hop on out of here. And we're heading on over to web design. Okay, and in web design, we last left off with Photoshop, and we were talking mock-ups. And in our mock-ups, we've been working on putting together something for the client, and I have met with the majority of you, although there are still some of you that I have to meet with. So please, contact me, get a hold of me. Let's make that meeting. We'll talk through your mock-up and go through all of that stuff. I may be contacting you soon, so please take care of that. Okay, excellent. In Photoshop, I've taken one of the mock-up pages here, and what I've done is kind of that next step. I'm starting to think about the coding. How do I actually break this up so that I can start coding it? And think about those different div containers that are in there and the format that's going to take place on my website. So as I look at this, I've got my nav area, I've got my logo area, I may have some social media down on the left or on the right. And of course, the overall rectangle that I've got going on here is my super container. Your assignment for the week that you're working on is you are going to get your first draft page coded, put together with the graphics, and to me so that I can see that. And that's another checkpoint for us as client and web developer here. You put that together and then you'll check in, see if that's exactly what I'm kind of looking for, and then you'll be able to make revisions. But this is part of the process now where we move from mocking up to the actual construction of the site. Okay, and that's our next transition here. If you have any questions, make sure that you drop me a line. And to everybody at any time, I'm available on Google Meet from 11 to noon, and I posted that out in Schoology as well. Excellent. Let's hop out of here. All right, that, according to my notes, takes me to game design. All right, game design has been working on their 2D game, and last week we incorporated a number of different features in that, and we saw some of the walkthroughs last week as well, which were incredible, and very well laid out layers and levels and lots of different things that are in there. This week, one of the things that I noticed from the walkthroughs is that a lot of you need a health system to govern your character. And this is just another one of those like incentivizing things that happens during the game. So not only are you collecting things during the game, but also you have a health that you have to maintain and something that interacts with your health that takes it away. So like going back to Gus's game that we saw last week on the walkthrough, he had a load of layers, a lot of different challenges in his level. But one of the things that he had, it was like all or nothing. So if he dropped, then it restarted him. If he fell off of something, it restarted him. He landed on spikes, it restarted him. So it'd be nice to incorporate a little bit of that health thing so then you can make the levels more challenging and make it so that they just barely get through. Okay, that's my spiel on the health system. I want to make sure that you have the resources for that. So I'm actually going to direct you to the same place that I've got Digital Media 2 going to. Hop on over to the Red Hawk Media page. And once you're over here on the Red Hawk Media page, there is and I'll back up here so that you can see this. There is a whole playlist of game tutorials. Okay, it's all set up here in order, start to finish, building your own 2D game. Now when you hop in here, we've covered a majority of these already, except we have not gotten into the health bar stuff. So if you were to take a look at the playlist, we've got health bar 8.1, 2, 3, and then it goes into your death animation. So when your health is depleted, that death animation actually plays, and then it gives you the option to either restart or go back to that checkpoint that you've got set up. Okay, and that kind of goes right through in a natural progression. Now, some of these you're going to be able to breeze through very quickly because they're just graphical, and then once we get into 8.2, 8.3, that's where the code comes in, and in the description in all of these, if I load this up, and we got the creator of The Sims here. If I load this up and take a look at it, in the description, I've got an actual download that's right from my Google Drive. It's got the scripts in there. It's got a script for the health. It's got a script for one of the objects that I run into so that you can start putting that together and modifying it to fit your game. So that way you don't have to type everything out from scratch. Dawson will be super happy about that. Yeah, there we go. We've got that all set up. Work through those. Your deadline for that is Wednesday. I want to see a walkthrough by Wednesday with that health system implemented into your game. Okay, and that pretty much gets that all set up there. And you can see, let me skip the ad. We will have a full working health bar that'll be in there. Let me see if I've got, there's the script. Well, you'll be able to check it out here to see exactly what's going on in the gameplay and the setup of all of that. So take a look. I encourage you. It's super easy to follow. And there we go. That pretty much wraps up game design. That's going to take me into video production here. And video production, I'm going to come back to what I started with, and I'm going to go back to the John Krasinski page, and I think this is a great idea. I think it's something that we can incorporate into our Red Hawk Talk, and I think I was toying with the idea of doing a virtual Red Hawk Talk anyway, so this is definitely something that I want to put into play. I've already posted on Schoology the idea, and the idea is that you independently are creating a news piece of some good news. Okay, now we're not going to call it some good news, it's going to be Red Hawk Talk, but it is positive stuff that's going on around the community, positive things that we can report on, and then we're going to take all our independent efforts and put them together. And just watch one of these episodes, it'll give you a great idea of what that looks like. You can see how he incorporates virtual conferencing with Zoom, Google Meet, things like that, and how he works that right into the actual episode of Some Good News. And the second one just posted today, or late last night actually. And it's good stuff, really good stuff. Fun, positive. I think it's something that we can pull off using just our cell phones and our laptops. So take a look at that post. Also, for video production, to discuss ideas for that, hop onto the Google Meet. I'm on there from 11 to noon. Take a look at that. You can run ideas by me there to see if you're on the right track. That's a great time for us to check in. Really strongly encourage you to do that. Okay? There are a few of you that I haven't heard from in a little while, and that'd be great to see you there. Okay, excellent. We're going to wrap that up. And that takes us on to Digital Media One. And Digital Media One, I have to give you an apology. You've been working on GarageBand, and in GarageBand, there have been a handful of you that have had troubles downloading it because of administrator passwords, and your loops have been downloaded, but they're not showing up in GarageBand. If you are one of the people that is having any of those struggles, you need to email me straight away. Just drop me an email, say, hey, I'm having this struggle. I don't have any loops in here and all that. And our IT guy is already aware of that, and he's come up with a solution, and he will email you directly with how to actually fix that. So I know it's kind of a loop-de-loop of how to do that. Normally we'd just send you up to the tech office, but we're going to get you fixed up. So those of you that have already talked to me in email, I have already forwarded your names onto the IT guy. He probably has already sent you the email because he said he was going to do it over morning coffee, and we'll get everything fixed up here. Now, for those of you that do have GarageBand up and running, you were to have created Song 1. Now, I took that Song 1 assignment that's on Schoology, and I pushed back the deadline for it to Wednesday. That way it allows everybody time to get all of their issues kind of figured out, and it also allows for you to actually create your first song and follow those directions for that assignment. Now, a lot of you said, hey, wait a minute, Mr. Hall, Friday you were supposed to show us how to export this. Let's go through that now, so those of you that have GarageBand can already do that. So I'm hopping over to GarageBand, and in GarageBand here, you can see I put together a little thing. I've been working on the new lead-in to the Red Hawk Media tutorials and that, trying to come up with something. So I threw 4 tracks together, and let's go ahead and put that up here. My bad. My bad. All right. Hop back. Yeah, I'm not much of a music guy, but it's something, and it might work. Either way, right now I've got 4 tracks in here, and I've got them all mixed together the way that I want. I need to get them out of GarageBand so I can actually turn them in for my assignment. And that's the part that I want to go through right now. When you are all said and done here, best thing to do before you export, so that you don't end up with lots of extra time at the end of your song, because I'll show you really quick. If I find a, let's see here, this is a longer one, I believe. Let's bring this in here. Yeah, it's a little bit longer than the rest of them. And if I stretch this out, of course I drag one in that I can't stretch out here. Some of the loops you can't actually stretch out. They're just designed the way they are. Good cheat to get around that. I go Command C, I select my track, I set up the playhead right at the end of that, and I just go Command V, and then I stretch it out. Now you'll notice as I get this longer loop in here, that up at the top, it is taking the end of my actual project here. That's my marker, my end marker. It's pushing that further and further out. Now, if I decide suddenly that I don't really want any of that in there, and I start deleting that, you can see that end marker stays right out where it was. which becomes problematic because when I export this, it's going to export all the way to that end marker, and I'm going to have all that empty noise at the end there, and it's going to just stretch out my track needlessly. So I'm going to grab that end marker and just drag that back into the end of all this. Okay, so we've got that all set up. Now, there is like a minimum length, I think, that you have to have in GarageBand. I can't remember what it is, maybe 15, maybe 10 seconds, something like that. But you drag that in there, and now I'm ready to actually export. So I always save beforehand, so I'd go up, I'd go File, I'd save this, okay? And then from there, I'm going to go to Share. Now, it's Apple product. Share is the way that you export everything, just like in Final Cut Pro. We go to File, Share, and then Master File. Same exact dealio here. We go to Share, and we're going to export this song to disk. That sounds odd. It sounds like it's going to a CD or something, but no, it's just going to your hard drive. So Share and export song to disk. Once I get that, I'm going to get this little pop-up window, and there are two things that I'm going to change on here. Maybe three, maybe four. First one, MP3. That is the universal file that works on all systems and platforms here. So the MP3 is a great way to go. And I don't need this to be high quality. I'm just going to put it down to medium quality, which is in fact actually how you get most of your MP3s anyway. Now once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and give this a song like, let's say RHM intro. That's what this is. And then I'm going to make sure that I know where it is saving to here. If you're not seeing any of this, definitely drop this down and make sure that you are saving this to a place where you can find it quickly. In my case, I'm just going to drop it to the desktop and MP3 128, and I'm all set. Now, when I click export, it's going to go through the sharing thing, and it mixes it down and all that good stuff. I don't see anything else happen after that, except when I go to my desktop and I look for that RHM intro, I will see this. Now, if I did this properly, I will get this music note. It will say .mp3. If I did this improperly, what it will look like, and I'll just save my GarageBand project to the desktop here. Let's go File and Save. And I might have to do a File Save As. There we go. And if I save this to my desktop, this is what you'll see if you don't do it right. I'll say RHM just like before, intro. All right, and save. Okay, and now when I head over there, this is what you will see, and this does me no good. Okay, no good whatsoever, because I won't be able to hear the song. I may not have some of the loops that you have, so it just won't work. So at the end of all this, you're turning in this MP3 on Schoology, and that's how you're going to get your song to me. All right, and that pretty much wraps it up for Digital Media 1. Again, if you have any issues with anything whatsoever, hop on Google Meet 11 to noon. I'll be there, and you can pose any questions to me. If you have issues with your loops or GarageBand in general not working, send me a direct email so then I can forward that on to the IT guy, and he will be able to get to that to you. And our IT guy has been awesome working with me on all this. It's not easy to deliver this kind of content virtually if you don't have all the programs working, and he's been awesome. So if he contacts you or anything like that, make sure you thank him. And that's pretty much it for our 8th episode of Red Hawk Media Virtual Academy. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.